Your dog does this every single day, and you've been completely misreading it. There's one behavior your dog shows you, usually when you're busy, distracted, or about to leave the room, and it contains the most important thing they've ever tried to tell you. Most owners laugh it off, some ignore it entirely. But when you finally understand what it means, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Stay until the very end, because the last one on this list, it changed everything for the people who heard it. Welcome to Canine Mind. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now, because this channel is where we decode what your dog is actually saying. Let's get into it. Dogs can't speak, but here's the truth most people don't realize. They never stopped trying to talk to you. Every single day, your dog is sending you messages, urgent ones, loving ones, worried ones, using their body, their eyes, their paws, and even their nose. The problem isn't that they're not communicating. The problem is that we weren't taught how to listen. Today, we're fixing that. We're going through 10 of the most common behaviors your dog shows you and what they're genuinely saying each time. Some of these will surprise you. One of them will probably make you tear up, and all of them will make you a better dog owner, starting today. 1. Stretching in front of you. You've seen it 100 times. You're sitting on the couch or standing in the kitchen, and your dog walks up, looks right at you, and does a long, dramatic stretch. Front paws extended forward, chest low, backside up in the air. You probably thought, cute, they're just waking up. But that stretch, it's a full sentence. That specific posture, chest down, rear up, is called a play bow.
It's one of the most well-documented communication signals in canine behavior, and researchers have studied it extensively because dogs use it both with other dogs and with humans. It means one thing: let's play. Right now, you and me. Your dog is making you an offer, and they're doing it using the clearest body language in their entire vocabulary. But that's not the only version of the stretch. If your dog stretches slowly and calmly while near you, with a soft face and relaxed muscles, that's something different. That's your dog broadcasting safety. Dogs only let their guard down completely when they feel secure, and a slow, relaxed, full-body stretch is one of the clearest signs that your dog feels safe in your presence. They're not just comfortable, they're telling you, this place, with you, is where I feel most at peace. There's a third version too. When you come home after being away, some dogs don't just wag and bark. They do this full-body greeting stretch, like they're expanding to take up more space in their excitement. Ethologists who study dog greeting behavior describe it as a full-body expression of joy. Think of it as the dog equivalent of throwing your arms wide open. They can't say, "I'm so happy you're back," so they stretch every muscle they have to show you. Pay attention to when the stretch happens and what their face looks like. The message changes, but the intent is always the same. Your dog is talking to you. 2. Staring at you without saying anything. You're going about your day and you feel it before you see it, that quiet, steady pressure of being watched. You turn around and there's your dog, just looking at you. Not barking, not moving, just watching. It can feel a little intense, honestly. But what's actually going on?
When a dog makes sustained, soft eye contact with you, something remarkable is happening in both of your brains. A landmark study published in the journal Science found that when dogs and their owners gaze into each other's eyes, both experience a significant spike in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between mothers and newborns. Your dog isn't just staring at you, they're bonding with you. Every time they hold that gaze, the connection between you deepens at a neurochemical level. Scientists call it a cross-species oxytocin feedback loop, and dogs are the only non-human animals known to trigger it with humans this way. That quiet stare in a relaxed dog means, "I love you. You make me feel good. I could look at you all day." But there's another version of the stare, and it comes with a very different energy. This one happens right before dinner, or when you pick up the leash, or when you're holding something that smells interesting. This stare is focused, alert, and pointed. It's a request. Your dog has identified something they want, and they're directing every ounce of their attention at you to communicate it. Animal behaviorists describe this as referential looking. The dog shifts their gaze back and forth between you and the object of desire. It's intentional, it's specific, and it works. Here's the important part, though. If you respond to every demand stare immediately and consistently, you reinforce the behavior on a fixed schedule, which can escalate into pushiness. The kindest thing you can do is respond on your terms. Same time, same rules. So your dog understands that the communication works, but that you're still the one making the call.
Keep watching, because we're getting to the behaviors that most owners completely misunderstand. And the third one on this list is something almost every dog does that people always get wrong. 3. Leading you somewhere on purpose. Your dog starts pacing. They look at you, then walk a few steps, then look back at you again. Maybe they whine a little. Maybe they nudge you. They're clearly trying to get you to follow them somewhere specific. And here's what's fascinating. They know exactly where they're going before they start. This behavior is called showing or leading behavior, and it's one of the most sophisticated forms of intentional communication dogs display. Your dog has mentally mapped your home. They know where the food is, where the leash hangs, where the water bowl sits, where their toys live. And when something in that map needs your attention, they use their body to bridge the gap between what they need and what they can't say out loud. If they lead you to their bowl, they're telling you it's empty. If they lead you to the door, they need to go out. If they lead you to a spot on the floor, they may be showing you a mess they're embarrassed about, or something that startled them, or an object that's out of place and worrying them. Canine cognition researchers at the Family Dog Project in Budapest have documented that dogs will persistently try to guide human attention toward a problem until the human responds, and they'll change their strategy if the first approach doesn't work. This behavior is also deeply tied to your role in their world. Your dog sees you as the capable one, the one with hands, with access, with the ability to solve things they can't solve themselves. When they come to get you, they're not just being needy. They're trusting you. They're saying, "I found something I can't fix, and you can. Please come." So the next time your dog tries to lead you somewhere, follow them. There's a message waiting at the destination. 4. Bringing you a toy or object. Your dog trots over with something in their mouth, a ball, a stuffed animal, a sock, sometimes a completely random object, and drops it at your feet. Then they look at you. What does that mean? The most common interpretation is correct. They want to play. The toy drop is a direct, clear invitation. Studies of dog play behavior show that presenting an object to a social partner is one of the primary ways dogs initiate games, and that the behavior is more likely to occur with humans the dog has a close bond with. Your dog chose you. Out of everyone and everything in their world, they brought their thing to you and said, "This is what I want to do, and you're who I want to do it with." But there's a second layer that most owners miss. When your dog brings you something and seems proud about it, carrying it high, prancing a little, maybe barking before dropping it, they're showing off. Dogs who see their owner as a trusted leader will present catches and objects as a form of reporting. It's the same instinct that would drive a working dog to bring downed prey to the hunter. Your dog caught something. They want you to know. They want credit. And then there's the third meaning, which is the sweetest one. Sometimes a dog will bring you their most prized possession, the toy they carry everywhere, the one they get possessive about, and just give it to you. No request attached, no game implied. In dog social behavior, this is a gift. Sharing a valued resource with another individual is a high trust act. When your dog brings you their favorite thing with no apparent agenda, they're saying something without words. You are the most important thing in my world, and I want you to have this. 5. Pawing at you. The soft tap on your leg, the repeated paw pat on your arm when you're not paying attention. Your dog reaches out and touches you again and again until you respond. This one feels so simple, but it's actually one of their most emotionally loaded forms of communication. The primary message is almost always about connection. Your dog wants to be seen. They're not asking for food, they're not asking to go out, they're asking you to look at them.
Dog behavior researchers describe this as attention-seeking contact behavior, and it increases significantly when the owner is distracted, on the phone, watching something, talking to someone else. Your dog notices when your attention goes elsewhere, and the paw is how they say, "Come back to me." If they've pawed at you before and you've looked up and smiled and maybe scratched their head, they remember that. Dogs are extraordinarily good at reading cause and effect when it involves human behavior. They will repeat what works. So if the paw tap reliably gets them your eyes and your warmth, they'll use it consistently. It's not manipulation, it's communication that has been confirmed effective. When the pawing happens around food prep or treat time, the message shifts to a request. This version tends to be more insistent, more rhythmic, tap, 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 and it's aimed specifically at whatever you're holding. This is as close to pointing as a dog's anatomy allows. They see something they want, and they're reaching toward it while looking at you. The request is completely clear.
But the version of the paw that matters most is the quiet one. When your dog is anxious, after a loud noise or during an unfamiliar situation, or when they sense tension in the home, the paw they extend isn't asking for anything, it's seeking reassurance. They need to feel you, the warmth of your hand, the steadiness of your presence. This version of the paw is softer, slower, and sometimes accompanied by a lean into your leg. If you recognize it, the right response is simple. Stop what you're doing, put your hand on them, and let them know you're there. We're halfway through, and the behavior in number 7 is one that almost every owner misinterprets as annoying. Don't skip it. 6. Sitting between you and someone else. You're having a conversation with a friend or family member. You're laughing, engaged, not paying attention to your dog. And then suddenly, there they are, right in the middle, sitting between you, looking up at both of you, impossible to ignore. And partly that's true, but it's more precise than that. Dogs don't experience jealousy the way humans do, but they do have a very strong social orientation toward their primary attachment figures. When your attention goes fully to another person, your dog can experience a mild stress response, and they resolve it the way they resolve most things, by physically repositioning themselves in the center of the group. A 2014 study published in PLOS One was one of the first to formally document jealous-like behavior in dogs. The research showed that dogs were significantly more likely to push between their owner and another figure when the owner was directing positive attention elsewhere. What's important is that this behavior is fundamentally a bonding bid. Your dog isn't trying to ruin your conversation. They're trying to be part of your world. If you gently include them, a hand on their head, a brief glance, a quiet, "Hey you," they'll usually settle. What they needed was confirmation. You're still there. I'm still yours. There's a second reason for this behavior that's worth knowing. Dogs are extremely attuned to the emotional atmosphere of a space. If a conversation gets tense, or voices rise, or the energy in the room shifts toward conflict, some dogs will move into the space between people as a kind of intervention. Your dog doesn't fully understand what's being said, but they can feel that something is wrong, and their instinct is to get between the tension and try to soften it. They're trying to help. 7. Nudging you with their nose. If the paw tap is a polite knock on the door, the nose nudge is someone ringing the doorbell repeatedly. It's more urgent, more physical, and harder to ignore, and there's a very good reason why. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to about 6 million in humans. It is their most sensitive and developed sensory organ. When a dog uses their nose to make physical contact with you, they're not just reaching out, they're using the most precise and important tool they have. That escalation is intentional. It means, I tried, you didn't hear me, and this is too important to drop. The most common trigger is when every other signal has been ignored. You didn't notice the stare. You didn't respond to the paw. The nose nudge is the upgrade. It's insistent and direct. A physical statement that says, I need you to be present right now.
When the nudge is aimed at something you're holding, a snack, a bowl, a bag, the message is as specific as a dog can get. It's not a general request. It's a targeted one. They know what they want, they know you have it, and they are pointing at it with the most accurate pointing instrument they own. Researchers studying dog communication behavior have noted that nose-directed gestures toward objects are some of the most referentially precise communications dogs use with humans. But the third version of the nose nudge is the one to pay closest attention to. After a stressful event, a thunderstorm, a vet visit, someone unfamiliar in the house, your dog may come to you and just gently press their nose against you. Not pushing, not demanding, just touching. This is self-soothing through contact. They're not asking for anything except to confirm that you're real and solid and there. A quiet hand on their side in response is all they need. Sometimes the most important conversation has no words on either end. 8. Tilting their head when you talk. You say something to your dog, maybe their name, maybe do you want to go for a walk, maybe just a word they've heard before, and their head tips sideways, one ear up, eyes on you. It is, objectively, one of the most disarming things any living creature does, but it's more than cute. The head tilt has two simultaneous functions. The first is auditory. Dogs have mobile outer ears, the anatomical structure called the pinna, and by tilting their head, they can adjust the position of both ears to better triangulate and capture sound. They're literally fine-tuning their hearing equipment to process something they found interesting or unfamiliar. The tilt isn't just a reaction to hearing something, it's an active attempt to hear it better. The second function is visual. A dog's muzzle can partially block their lower field of view when they're looking at a face straight on. Tilting the head shifts that obstruction and gives them a cleaner sightline to your eyes and mouth. Research from the University of Vienna found that dogs with longer muzzles tilt their heads significantly more than flat-faced breeds, strongly suggesting that tilt is partly a strategy for improving facial reading. Your dog is angling for a better view of your expressions because your face tells them things your words don't. Put those two things together, and what do you get? A dog who is actively optimizing their ability to understand you. They're adjusting their ears and their eyes simultaneously because they want to know what you're saying and how you're feeling when you say it. That's not passive, that's effort. The head tilt is your dog working hard to stay in the conversation. There's one more thing worth knowing. Dogs tend to tilt more in response to words they've learned. A 2021 study found that dogs who understood a larger vocabulary of object names tilted their heads more consistently when they heard those words. The tilt might be your dog's way of signaling, I know that word, tell me more. Almost there. Number 9 will make you rethink something your dog does every single day. And number 10 is the one most owners never think to ask about, but probably should. 9. Following you from room to room. Everywhere you go, they go. You stand up, they stand up. You walk to the kitchen, they appear in the kitchen. You close the bathroom door, and there are 4 paws visible at the bottom.
It can feel like you never have a single moment alone, but before you get frustrated with it, it helps to understand what's actually driving it. The scientific term for this is hyperattachment behavior, in its more extreme form, but most dogs who follow their owners don't have a behavioral disorder. They simply have a very strong affiliative bond. Dogs evolved over thousands of years to be extraordinarily attuned to human movement, behavior, and routine. Following their primary human is, at a deep evolutionary level, natural. You are their group. Where the group goes, the individual follows. For some dogs, especially those with any history of inconsistency or separation stress, the following is genuinely about anxiety. The moment you disappear from sight, a small alarm goes off. Where did they go? Will they come back? Will I be okay? These dogs aren't being clingy for attention. They're regulating a real stress response through proximity. Closeness to you literally lowers their cortisol levels. Your presence is their medication. For other dogs, the following is optimistic. They've learned that when you stand up and move, good things sometimes happen. The leash appears, food gets prepared, a door opens. Standing up is a trigger for possibility, and your dog doesn't want to miss their window. This is a dog who is paying very close attention to your behavior because your behavior predicts their world. But the deepest reason, the one that underlies almost all of it, is simpler than either of those. You are your dog's safe place. Not the house, not the bed, you.
Studies on canine attachment behavior consistently show that dogs form secure base relationships with their owners that are structurally similar to the attachments infants form with caregivers.
When you move, their safe base moves. Following you isn't neediness, it's love organized into locomotion. 10. Licking your hands or face. We've arrived at the last behavior, and if you've been watching this whole time, you already know this is the important one. The thing your dog does that carries the most meaning. And it's the simplest gesture of all. They lick you. Licking has deep biological roots. Puppies are licked constantly by their mothers from the moment they're born, for warmth, for stimulation, for bonding. They return the behavior as they grow, licking the mouths of adult pack members as a greeting and a signal of affiliation. When your dog licks your hand or your face, that ancient circuit is still running. You are part of their family. This is how they say it. The primary message is love, not metaphorically, neurologically. Physical contact with a bonded human triggers oxytocin release in dogs, and licking is one of the most contact-intensive behaviors they engage in. When your dog licks you, their brain is registering something close to what we'd call joy. You are their person. This is what their nervous system does when they're near you. The second message is trust. In canine social dynamics, licking is also an appeasement and bonding signal, something offered to individuals the dog feels safe around or to reduce tension. A dog who licks you is not just showing affection, they're showing you who they've decided you are to them. Not a threat, not a stranger, family. There's also a deeply practical third layer, information gathering. Your dog's tongue contains chemoreceptors that let them analyze your skin the way we might read a detailed report. Where have you been? What did you touch? What did you eat? Have you been near other animals? They can detect all of this with a single lick, and they're not just being affectionate, they're catching up with you. One thing to watch for: if licking becomes compulsive, repetitive, hard to interrupt, occurring even when nothing seems to have triggered it, it can be a sign of stress or anxiety rather than affection. Calm, occasional licking is love. Frantic, can't stop licking is a dog trying to self-soothe. Know the difference, and you'll know when your dog needs comfort instead of just closeness. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we've covered today. Your dog has been talking to you every single day. They stretch to greet you and invite you to play. They stare at you because you fill them with warmth. They bring you their toys because you're the person they most want to be close to. They follow you because you are their entire world made portable. None of this requires you to speak dog. It only requires you to pay attention. The behaviors we covered today, the stretch, the stare, the nudge, the head tilt, the paw, the lick, these aren't quirks. They're a language. And now you know how to read it. The next time your dog does any of these things, stop for a second. Look at them. Not past them, not around them. At them. Let them see that you received the message. Because that moment of recognition, that quiet confirmation that the communication landed, that is everything to them. That is the whole relationship, compressed into a single second. You can't speak dog, but you can listen like one. If this helped you understand your dog better, subscribe to Canine Mind. We go deep on dog behavior every week. Leave a comment below and tell me, which one of these surprised you most? I read every single one.